Good morning.
Good morning.
Today, Christina Linhardt, I'm welcoming you to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much for joining. And you remember last year we had an interview on the website. I will put the link for people to check it out. And today you are on our YouTube channel. So good morning once again. Tell me, Christina, right now, how did you spend last year? Did you have some projects that were canceled? How did you manage during the COVID?
Good question. Well, first of all, I want to thank you very much for the Meeting Venus interview that you put up online. I think somebody who wrote on my Wikipedia page even referenced it. So thank you very much. So the last year's been a little bit challenging. Definitely things got canceled. I have to say I was grateful because I still had a couple commercials. I still was able to continue working with my veterans. I work with mentally ill veterans using theater as therapy. And so
Excellent.
it's beautiful work. And so I was still able to work with my veterans. I still gave a few socially distanced live performances. I sang backup for the Persian pop star Aref, who's been around forever. So there was still some work, but then, everything shut down here in Los Angeles. I'm in Los Angeles. And I worked with some children, and I was seeing children in very different states because I usually teach drama, and the kids have really been traumatized by shutdown. They're just very different. They're not getting the same motor skills they need. It's been pretty unusual.
Yes, tell me, do you work with kids as well, therapy, kids with special needs, challenges, or only with adult people?
I work with adults. I work with mentally ill veterans. I've worked with Alzheimer's patients. With children, I usually work with at-risk youth kids. And because here in Los Angeles, we have a lot of gang kids. And I used to teach in juvenile hall. That was prisons for kids. And so I worked with a lot of troubled kids, although this last year, there was no programs for the at-risk youth kids. So I worked with kids who came from better advantages. I worked with kids who came from healthier, happier homes. And yet those kids all seemed like they were at-risk youth because of shutdown. They really, every kid was at-risk this year.
I'm asking you because a friend of mine, Lebanese, and his wife, Egyptian, they are both based in Stockholm.
Oh.
And they started a film festival. Actually, the first edition is a couple of weeks away in Stockholm. The festival is called Hope Festival, and it's presenting films, about young people with challenges, either mental or physical. So I'm asking you because maybe next year you can do a performance or a masterclass there.
I would love to. The work that I do, it's under the auspices of the Neuropsychiatric Institute at UCLA. And we have clinical analysts who analyze our work to show that it really is making an impact. I would love to be involved. I would love to do a master class. That would be amazing.
Excellent. Tell me, Christina, right now, you mentioned in your interview that your influences were the musicals, when you like Rocky Horror Picture Show or Cats, Tell me, did you see the film Cats that was last year released, based on the musical or?
I actually didn't see Cats. It was funny because a friend of mine said, I don't want to see them going like this. It was, I never got to see it, even though I had a free screening for it. I didn't get to see it, and I really should go see it. But this,
No, I'm asking you because I was surprised by the reviews it got. Although I love musical films, but I don't know if the audience right now are ready for them. because like I have cats as well. The musical and a DVD of the Broadway performance in Egypt.
Mhm.
And also, I saw some musicals on Broadway when I visited New York. I love them. I attended the Spider-Man musical. It was very interesting.
Right.
But tell me, do you think audience right now likes musical like you used to be in the 60s and the dancing sequence with Jim Kelly, Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, or right now the people are quite affected, I think, by the film production right now.
It's a really good question because, and I think about that um, because, well, for example, in general, when I studied musical theater at the Music Academy, the professor said, in general, musicals are just better on stage. He said the only musical that really was better on camera, on film, was Sound of Music, because you saw Salzburg, the way they filmed it just somehow worked. And the thing is, also, when they made the wonderful big MGM productions, and by the way, where I live right here is the former MGM backlot. It was where they filmed all these things and they sold it off to condominiums. But so the way we film movies now and what we're used to with movies now are so reality, slice of life right here, that it seems hard to translate the musical to the screen. And there's nothing more exciting than the musical when it's live. When you're sitting there live,
Yes,
you have hundreds of people up there, musicians, and they're dancing. It's so fantastic. It was like when I
yes,
saw Phantom. Yeah, when I saw Phantom of the Opera on film, it
yes,
you know that when you're there and the audience are live and the chandelier comes over you, like in real life, it's exciting. On the screen, it came out almost cheesy because it's a different experience. And so it's going to take some really brilliant directors and
of
producers to
course.
figure out how to translate.
Yes, I saw Phantom of the Opera on stage, and also I saw the the film production with Joel Schumacher. I think he directed it. Of course, to translate it into cinema, it needs a lot of talent, and also Broadway relies a lot of on theatrical effects. The music, the lighting, and if you can do some, you have a bigger production to move the stage and to do some kind of visual effects as well, like rain or something like that. you
Right.
know uh, yeah, but tell me, I see you have traveled a lot across the world. Tell me about your what do you present to different audience? Do you have a special performance, or it's according to where you are invited?
It's both. So
Hmm.
I was singing with a little Hawaiian tiki trio of three girls, and that was started just for fun, but it kind of took off, and we got some really good jobs. I also sing with a Brazilian band. I sing. I do Celtic Irish music with harp. I used to be with the group Angels of Venice, and they were big in the New Age world. They were with Wyndham Hill. But then my own personal stuff, when I'm asked just me and not with one of the groups to do Hawaiian or Brazilian or Irish, I
Yes,
do. Then I do a mix. It's called Classics to Cabaret, and I'll sing a little bit of
yes.
Puccini. I'll sing a little bit of Marlene Dietrich medley. I'll do a little bit of the
Hmm.
musical theater, traditional, like My Fair Lady. Then I'll do like Danny Boy, which is Irish. So I mix a little bit of the opera and the musical theater. I did that in Europe. I opened a concert hall in Germany with that, and they wanted some of the classic film music, so like Moon River. So it's called Classics to Cabaret. So it uses a bit of classical cabaret, a bit of classical music theater.
Yes, but tell me, I see you did some film roles. I see you've been in movie 43. Uh,
I don't know if you know movie 43, but that one was that one had every celebrity
yes,
in the world.
do yes. I have many friends in this film as well.
Oh,
You
do you
know,
really?
Yes, I have a friend, Egyptian based in the United States. His name is Sayed Badriya, and he was in the segment with Halle Berry.
Oh yes,
And
okay.
his name is Sayed Badriya, and he played the terrorist in the first Iron Man, who
Oh,
kidnapped Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr.
right.
And he did a lot of roles in many good stuff. But I was asking you about working with the directors. I think these kind of films, some short stuff, they don't do it a lot in Hollywood
Mhm.
right now. How was your experience doing so, a short film or a short appearance?
Right, right. Because movie 43, that was such a. It came about in such a strange way. Now I'm friends with Charles Wessler, who's the man who was the uber producer of all that. Charles Wessler, who produced Something About Mary and Dumb and Dumber and all that, and he won the Oscar recently for Green Book. But he wasn't the one who asked me. I had received
Yes,
an email, and I got an email, and I didn't even know who it was from. And they said, "Oh, we have a segment. We need a clown." And I said, "Sure, I'll
yes,
do it." I had no idea what it was. And then I realized, oh, wait, that's one of my best friend's husbands. I didn't recognize his email address. And
yes,
he remembered years ago when we were young, I was doing clown work and I walked up to the house and I was dressed as a clown. And he was like, "What's this clown doing coming to my house?" And that was from years ago. And so then when he was doing the movie, he remembered that I had done clown work. He said, "Can you do a clown in this?" And I said, "Sure." I had no idea what it was going to be. And then I look it up and I'm like, wait a second, this is a movie with Halle Berry, with Kate Winslet, with Hugh
yes,
Jackman, Dennis Quaid, everybody. And I said, oh, I just thought I was saying yes to some little independent film. And it was fun. It was fun filming it. I learned a lot because that
yes,
was one of the bigger sets I'd ever been on. I've done film, but that was a huge set.
of
And it was,
course.
and I have to say, the thing that stuck out the most for me was, and my
Yes,
scene had Elizabeth Banks and Josh Duhamel in it. And what stuck out the most to me on a set like that was it made me realize how insignificant the actors are, that how much is going on beyond the actors, how many people,
yes,
there's a whole army working, and how they're really running the show. It's really the backstage or behind the camera
of
people
course.
doing all the
Yes,
work. I saw that.
yes,
So
yes, and this kind of films, one scene needs a lot of preparation,
mhm.
and sometimes they have to do it like one shot, if they need a stunt or they need something like that.
Right.
So it's quite. But tell me, do people mistake you for Gwyneth Paltrow sometime?
No, a long time ago,
Uh-huh.
um, people mistook me for Nicole Kidman, but before she went blonde. If you remember early Nicole Kidman, she
With,
had curly
with
hair.
Yes, with Tom Cruise, Days of Thunder, with the movie, the Australian movie she did, I like very much. Yeah, did Calm with Sam Neill and Billy Zane. That was a film she did in Australia already.
Right, exactly. Her beginning before she changed a little bit, people mistook
Yes,
me for her. But it's funny you say Gwyneth Paltrow because Gwyneth Paltrow actually was involved for a little while in our theater therapy program.
really.
We gave her an award, and I know she came and worked with the clients. That was a long, long time ago before I was with the program. But
Yes,
yes, and then I have to say
excellent.
that she lives not far up north, and there's a hotel I like to go to, and they have all of Gwyneth Paltrow's products because she has now a product line of
Yes,
candles and gummies, melatonin
yes.
gummies, and vitamins. So I bought some of her vitamins. They're pretty good.
Yes. Tell me, Christina, right now, do you have, before I ask you about your projects, I interviewed many performers like you, singers, opera singers, dancers as well. And during the COVID, many platforms arise, like you can adjust, do a performance at your home and you can sell tickets Did you think of doing something like that, or do you prefer to be in front of a live audience?
I definitely prefer the live audience.
Mhm.
Personally, some people ask me if I want to do shows and then charge for tickets, but you see, I prefer not to have anybody have to come pay to see me. Fortunately, pre-COVID time in the normal world, a lot of my performances are paid for by grants. So I get paid by the grant, but then the concert is free to the public. And that's how I like it, so that people don't have to pay to get the artwork. I mean, of course, if people are going to, download my music, I'd like them to pay whatever the 99 cents on iTunes or whatever. But for live performances, I really like as much as possible to do them for free, but I'm getting paid, of course, but it's free to the audience. There was one project that I did do, we just put it up on YouTube. It was with a violist from the Pacific Symphony. And he used
Yes.
yeah, it was beautiful. His name is John Acevedo, and he used Piazzolla tango, but it's a very sort of mellow, melancholy Piazzolla tango. And he asked me to write a poem with it. And it was right in the heart of shutdown. So it was called The Spirit Solitude. And we talk about how just this yearning and this solitude that we've all gone through, because people really didn't see each other at all. I mean, I knew people who didn't see anybody for 6 months. It was very painful. So we got together, and the
Yes.
symphony puts it out on their blog, and it's out on YouTube. And so definitely more online things, which have been fun. But in general, there's nothing like the live performance, like
Yes.
we talked about.
Yes. Tell me, do you have some projects coming up in the next period?
Yes, well, working with my veterans, we wanted to put on a play this year and we couldn't. So we made a little film with them, but we still want to do the play live because it's rewarding for them. It's part of the therapy to get
Yes.
up there live in front of people.
Uh-huh.
My 2 albums are out online. I mean, out on iTunes and Spotify and all that, but those came from a while ago. I had a second documentary. My first documentary, Guantanamo Circus, is on Amazon Prime. My second documentary, called Troy, the Original Ladyboy, we're trying to get that out online. I'm not sure what platform to put it up on yet, so I'm thinking about that. And and I'm thinking about maybe recording again, doing some recording.
Yes,
So
which will be very nice. But I would like to will try to listen to your album as well. I want to see the documentary as well. Maybe we can present it in Egypt at some point as well.
I would love to. Let me know what format you need it in, and I'll be there.
Yes. Yes, if you have it on Vimeo, secured Vimeo, it will be very nice to have an idea about it. Yes.
It's on Vimeo, but the first documentary, Guantanamo Circus, that is available to the public on Amazon, Roku.
On Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon Prime. I can send you the link. The second documentary, so the first documentary is about when a circus went down to Guantanamo Bay. So it's completely different. Than my second documentary is Troy, the Original Ladyboy, which I do have a private link on YouTube I could send you because we haven't released it yet. And it's about this wonderful singer. He was this wonderful, flamboyant. He was also a veteran, and he was this flamboyant, openly gay singer. But back in the 60s and 70s, when that wasn't really, accepted in the country music scene here in the United States. But it's really more about just the joy he brought to everybody. He won over everybody. People normally would have a prejudice towards him. He just won over everybody. And then you discover he's still alive. He's in his 80s. He lives in a rest home, like a nursing home, but he still comes out and performs. And it's just full of love and joy. It's just a beautiful person. And if you love music, you just love him. So that's the second documentary.
Yes. Well, I forward for your next documentary and your next performance. And we hope to collaborate, in one of any film festival. You can present a performance there as well, because right now art comes together and intervenes, And I want to thank you very much for this interview, and all our best wishes for the upcoming period. in cinema and in theater.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for what you're doing for artists, and especially for women artists. That's so important, what you're doing for
Thank
women
you.
artists.
Thank you very much for your kind words, your support, your friendship, and more creativity coming up from Christina. And as well, we look forward for more exposure of your practice worldwide.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, have a good day. Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.